Yeah, you can.
Here, let's go this way. Go left. You gonna go that way?
You go that way.
All right. Careful. Nothing, huh?
You got the road down here?
Nope, that's all down here. I come up here to my dam break, and it looks like the dam is fixed. There's my drowning lock, but if you look at the chain, it took me a minute to decipher out. Now I noticed there's my trap. You can see it probably. Golly, there's looks like maybe a kit beaver right there. Not what I was expecting. Make sure it's a great still alive. Yep, it's a little old kit, all right. There must be another one in here though that's blocked up to fix the dam. And again, dam breaks are that's heck on them, man. They can't stand that water running. All right, we might have some more action. I don't see my drowning lock. It does look like some coon tracks right there though. I'd rather an otter or a beaver than a coon. Let's see what we got. There we go. Another beaver, not a monster beaver, but this is a situation where I'm trying to get rid of all the beavers in this pond for this owner. So even though the smaller one is smaller, it's what I'm after still. So mission accomplished. Well, we're still working on it. I don't know if that's all of them yet, but we're working on them. One thing to keep in mind with these beaver sets, especially these foothold sets, is the water's come down probably 8 to 10 inches since I first started in here running my dam break sets. It's in the morning and I got that dam break reset, so the water's probably going to drop another couple inches before beavers have time to get out this evening and repatch it. So I'm accounting for additional water drop, so I don't want to set my trap too high, because if it drops another 2 or 3 inches, so I've got my trap set back here in probably 8 inches of water. Caught him with a hind foot. I'm always good with a hind foot catch on beaver. Got plenty of water to drown him. So keep that in mind anytime I'll show you one of my cotton bears over here too, that you can kind of see. I got this set and I'm gonna pull it now. Hadn't had any activity, but I had it set in water probably up to here when I first started, and then the water has come down such that it's no longer in the water. I don't like it out of the water like that, so I'm gonna pull these. But that's something you got to take into account if you're running dam breaks to try to get beaver activity. Make sure you account for the water dropping. It's a good opportunity to showcase kind of the different age structures of beavers, and how I try when I'm trapping a place, and specifically trying to remove beavers, say a nuisance job or a damage job. I always try to keep track of course the number, but the sex of the beavers as well, and because it's not uncommon to have 3 generations of beavers living in the same lodge, and that's kind of what we got here. I've got this nice big, what I would say an adult beaver, and sometimes male beavers, like a lot of fur bears, have a baculum, and so sometimes you can tell just by feeling right in front of you can see the anus here and the casters area and all, and sometimes you can tell just by kind of feeling right in here, kind of in the center, you'll feel the baculum bone. If not, you can always see when you cut the beaver, when you're skinning, and then if you save the casters, which you'd be crazy not to, but if you cut the casters out, and you can kind of get an idea of that, of whether it's a male or a female. So, a lot of times if I'm doing a beaver job, I catch an adult male and an adult female. Well, that's the pair that are living in the lodge, right? But it's not uncommon, like I said, to have 3 generations. So what would be considered what I would call a subadult. So not this year's young or not last year's young, but this beaver is probably about the size. Typically, I would say that when she's ready to give birth this year, these are the ones that are going to get booted out of the lodge, and they're going to be off trying to find their own way and their own place to live. And then this, which is probably this year's young, born probably in the spring, is which here in the South, I mean, I've caught beavers at all times of the year with fetuses in them and different stages. So I don't know exactly how in some areas it's not as crucial in the South for them to birth on a consistent schedule as it is up north, where they have really harsh winters and things like that. But so that was just, I wound up catching these all out of the same place, and I thought that was a good illustration of, you know, 3 generations, and you could definitely see adult, subadult, and what I would consider juvenile beaver here. And like I said, these are the ones that this spring, they're probably going to be hitting the road and being kicked out by the adults to make way for the new litter. And this one, you know, has probably got another year to stay in the lodge and before he's going to get kicked out. The tough thing is, if you're trying to remove all of them, it's hard to know, you know, how many young of the year that they have. So if you catch an adult male and adult female, well, that may be all the adults, but there could be 2, 3, 4 subadults, and then, you know, several juveniles. So often what some folks will do is they'll start by trapping away from the lodge. And I know some states even have regulations about you can't trap close to a lodge, but, you know, typically these smaller beavers won't travel as far from the lodge. So if you start trapping away from the lodge, you can kind of target your older, more mature beavers. Once you get them out of the way, then you start moving in closer and closer to the lodge until, if it's legal, you can set, you know, right at the entrance of the lodge. A lot of times that's when you're going to catch these smaller ones that don't venture out as far. So anyway, I thought that was, with having all 3 of them, I thought it was a good opportunity to show the different sizes and the age structures, so that you can see, you know, see the difference and know what to expect when you're trapping. If you're just fur trapping, you know, you may not want to catch, you don't necessarily want to catch all of them, and really, you know, this one and even this one don't have a lot of fur value. So that's one reason why a lot of fur trappers, you know, they'll target staying away from the lodge just to try to catch a couple of the prime cream of the crop beavers and then keep on going. And of course, if you're in an area where there's a healthy beaver population and their territories may overlap a little bit, then you can get into situations where you can catch multiple adult-sized beavers that are coming in from different lodges and kind of have a little bit different home range. So you're not taking all from the same family group. So